YouTube channel. My name is Madison and I do tarot and oracle readings. This time it's going to be a pick a card, but sometimes I'll also do collective readings, or I'll do them based on astrology signs or astrology elements. I was thinking about doing it soon on energy, like cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And they can also be a way for people who don't know that much about astrology can kind of like get an idea of how these things affect them in their day-to-day life. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I post positive content. I post about my dog Cowboy. I post tarot and oracle stuff. I also offer personal readings if you would like to DM me and want a personal reading. And recently I've been doing astrology charts. So you can hit me up for that and you can get like a detailed like chart where I like fill in everything for you so that you don't have to go do a bunch of research. It'll all literally be right there. So just DM me on Instagram or on Facebook if we're friends on Facebook. I don't know where you're watching me from, but go ahead and contact me and we'll get it all settled. Okay, so what we're going to do first before we do the pick a card portion, which will be in a few minutes. You can fast forward to it if you want. I'm going to have the timestamps below. But I also have some notes that I'm going to talk about. They're for my planetary guide for what will be happening astrology-wise. We still have so many planets in retrograde, so keep that in mind throughout the rest of the summer, basically. I mean, some planets are going to be in retrograde all the way until October. I don't know if you have the app The Pattern. If you don't, you should totally download it because it's super helpful. But one of the things that they talk about is like your patterns and your timing and things that you're going through right now, and they explain it in a way that the app is astrology based, but they're not like telling you like, oh, because you have this and this and this is happening. They're just straight up telling you like how things are for you, and it's really interesting. And for me, they have some like believing in yourself, relationship challenges, stuff like that, and they end up matching up with the retrogrades or the transits. So they're not directly saying it, but if you already like astrology, then it's just more information you can get about what's going on. And it's a little less like just repeating like what the planets are and what's going on in that way. It's like a different type of content, if that makes sense. Okay. So, July 2020. The first week of July, Mercury's still going to be in retrograde, but it'll end on the 12th. Jupiter and Pluto are both still in retrograde as well, and they're going to be working together to make something big happen that first week of July. Something really intense but good. This only occurs every 13 years that Jupiter and Pluto combine in this way. On July 4th, there will be a full moon and a lunar eclipse, so prepare for surprises. In the book, it was saying that a presidential candidate might step down. But there also might be some other things about like events not going well, things just not really like working out. So just prepare for that if you're the type of person, if you live in the United States and you like to celebrate on 4th of July. Just keep that stuff in mind, that events might not turn out the greatest. I'm assuming too that maybe there might be some pushback whenever it comes to protesting racial injustice, stuff like that, because a lot of that is connected to American history. So maybe there might be some conflict there. I don't know that for sure. That's just something that is coming to mind and something that I think could be like a connection in that way if we're talking 4th of July. The second week, Mercury retrograde squares with Mars, July 8th, which will cause silence between friends because like small things that normally wouldn't be a big deal are going to like super hurt either your feelings or their feelings, and it could cause a lot of conflict. So they're saying to avoid disagreements and arguments, try not to have road rage because it could turn out badly for you. And then at the end of that week, Mercury goes direct and communications are going to be better. You're also going to be feeling really good for like a few days. This will be a day where you feel really good about where you are in life. Appreciate the calm, donate to a cause if you want to, something like that. And the third week, you're still feeling good until like Tuesday. And Tuesday will also be a big day for a new opportunity. You'll feel overly optimistic, deeply impractical, and highly self-indulgent. So you're going to kind of feel like you deserve things and you're going to go for it. On Wednesday, though, the 15th, so that's the 14th, on the 15th, you're going to be feeling Pluto's energy. And Pluto's more of a dark planet. that's where our darkness lies, if that makes sense. And you can also look at your chart too to see like what house Pluto is in and what sign it's in, and it can give you an indication of like where you're going to be feeling this like darkness and sadness and stuff like that. And just remember the enthusiasm from Tuesday to balance yourself out, because it's going to kind of be like a back and forth. And just remember that so that you can be more balanced and not like go so far down or so far over, not overreact to things, stuff like that. And then for the 4th week, we have the new moon in Cancer. This will be the 2nd time that the new moon is in Cancer. This isn't something that happens too often. I don't know how rarely it happens. That's just what the book said. And this would not be a good time to start something new, as Saturn is in retrograde. So be patient, stay focused, and speak from love instead of fear. July 22nd is the beginning of Leo season. So that is a time to get creative, be the center of attention, show your leadership skills, just like that big Leo energy. It'll be a good time for that. Okay, so before we get to the card selection, I want you to take 3 deep breaths and really think about what it is that you want to know for the next month. We have so much stuff going on. There's so many planets in retrograde. Like the world feels like it's falling apart. All those things. So I want you to think about what it is that's important for you to understand right now. I have it divided up into 3 categories. I've done these cards before, but I'm doing them again. One of them is servant leadership. So like your leadership when it comes to service to others, to spirit, things like that. The next category is relationships. So if you're worrying about relationships right now, it would be good to choose that deck. And then if you're wondering about personal growth, then go ahead and choose the one for personal growth. If you want help in multiple areas, there's no problem with watching the decks for multiple areas. But we'll just go ahead and get started. Hi, if you picked group 1, then you picked servant leadership. For the immortal soul, this life is like a single pencil point in a long line of many lives, with dots extending to infinity. We are unable to see the larger picture of life beyond the present circumstances. We have missed the point. Okay, so, and this is long-term vision. So this is just kind of a reminder from Spirit that in order to serve Spirit and serve yourself in the long run is to accept that this is one life of many. If you don't believe in that, that's fine. But you can also think of it as like, this is one moment of my entire life, and not put so much weight into one single event, because you'll have many events in your life. We know from experience that younger people have a harder time accepting that because everything to them is so intense. They don't have this long, like, history to look back on things. I'm only 26, so I'm not old, but to a 19-year-old, they'd probably consider me old. I remember when I was 19, I was freaking out about turning 20, thinking I was old. And that's really funny to think about now, because it's like your brain isn't even fully developed until you're 24. And then, like, the first job is, like, a big deal because it's all you've ever had. And then after you've had a few jobs, you don't even really think about it anymore or remember. You know, just things like that where it's, like, there are things that are such a big deal in the moment, but then later they just become a part of, like, other things that have happened. So don't put so much weight into one moment to where you're not allowing yourself to open up to new opportunities that will present themselves to you, you know? Okay. We have Mother of Cups. So this is a reminder to be empathetic and free-flowing. Allow your emotions to shine through. And just be like a kind-hearted person that people feel like they can talk to and be open with, you know? This could also represent somebody else in your life who you feel is like a motherly figure to you. Like maybe it's not your mother. It could be your mother, but maybe it's not. And this is just somebody that you feel like you can trust and you talk to and they teach you things, and, you know, this person's always empathetic with you. They understand your point of view and stuff like that. So it could be a good time to reach out to this person and maybe get some advice on something that's happening. because you're going to get somebody speaking to you with love and not somebody speaking to you with judgment. We also have the World here. This image is so beautiful. You can see the spiral starting from within and then coming out. So the World is just kind of a reminder that you have lots of opportunities and you shouldn't feel like you're stuck with one thing, because the truth is that you're not. You've also come a long way. This is the very last card in the Major Arcana story. So this is like you've already overcome so much in your life, and now you're at this point where you feel like you are open to do anything, you know? And that does happen whenever we heal ourselves. We start to feel like there's opportunities that we didn't think were presented to us before, you know? So you're able to take more control in a way that feels right. We have the hummingbird. I don't remember exactly what the description is for this, so I'm going to look it up real quick so I can give you a good joy. My joy is the gateway to a life of abundance. Hummingbirds are drawn to the sweet nectar of life hidden within nature's bountiful flora. They move quickly because they are certain of what they want, and nothing deters them from their search for sweet rewards. Having a positive vibration makes you feel joyful and energized and attracts positive events and people to you. Your thoughts create your reality, so by changing your attitude, you change your life. Summon hummingbird's energy to illuminate moments of bliss, tiny miracles, and the abundance you possess. Fly past greed and jealousy and resist comparing yourself to others. Hoarding, hiding things away, or thinking others have it better than you paves the path to lack mentality. There is an abundance of flowers in the garden and enough to go around. When you celebrate what you already have, you experience joy in this abundance. Okay. So for you, Spirit definitely wants you to, this message has come up multiple times. So there's that long-term vision of like not being so boggled down by one moment. And then this is a reminder to continue to have joy and remember that you have lots of opportunities ahead of you. You have people that care about you. You also can express love to other people, and that is a gift. Some people struggle, you know? But it is possible for all of us to express love to each other. So definitely take time in July to express that joy and remember that you have opportunities for yourself. We have new moon in Aries. It's time to take action. Okay, so there's something that you're ready to do. You've been thinking about it. It's on your agenda. And now is the time to actually manifest that and start creating this, start putting that time and effort into it to make it happen. The new moon just happened recently. And, that was a good time for people to kind of like release and take on new things in life. I didn't mean that to sound so vague, but you get what I'm saying. So it could be a good time now to kind of start. Maybe you didn't start it specifically on the new moon, but you can go ahead and start taking the actions to be ready to actually manifest something when the new moon actually comes. I did say earlier that it would be a bad time to start things during the actual new moon in July. So it might be good to start getting stuff done earlier, and then whenever the new moon comes, maybe release negative things that you've been manifesting or negativity that you know has been blocking you from taking steps. So then you can do a ritual that has to do with release rather than manifesting something new. We also have full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. This is a reminder to appreciate your positive qualities, you know? It's going to be right here with joy, and it's going to be here with the world. So that reminder that you have opportunities for you. You have the world, technically. And so definitely use the month of July to feel that appreciation for yourself. Ooh, we have another one here. You are perfectly beautiful. You're beautiful as your true self, not your false self. Sometimes we feel like we have to put on a false self to be accepted by others, but we really don't have to. We're worthy of love the way that we are. And sometimes too, our true self can be toxic and negative, right? So a lot of people feel like if they're this false self, they can receive love, but many times they confuse attention for love. So they'll act these certain ways and play out these toxic cycles because they're getting attention, and to them attention means love and appreciation and all those things. And so just a reminder to realize that you are beautiful inside and your true self is beautiful. You don't have to jump through hoops to be seen as beautiful or to receive attention. You don't have to fight to be respected. None of those things. The more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. Okay. So yeah, definitely put your intention this next month, I mean, you've been getting the message over and over again, into joy, and go ahead and start taking action on making yourself feel better. That's definitely what I'm feeling that take action is about. So maybe write affirmations and put them up around your house. Affirmations really are so helpful. Whenever you see that same message written every day and you remind yourself that you wrote it and you look at it and you're just like, wow, that's really how I want to feel. And then eventually you will feel that way because you've been seeing the message every day. You've been reading it, processing it, applying it to yourself. So put more intention into having faith in yourself and having faith in the universe. Okay, for my ritual deck, we have feather for our, the category feathers. We have gray, neutrality, teamwork, the middle path. Okay, so this is a reminder whenever we're going to be feeling emotional this month to continue to try and take that middle path and to not overreact, not freak out. And then we have sacral chakra, desire, euphoria, expression. Okay, so maybe it's time to get into a little bit more of like your sexualness and like who you are sexually. We have you are good enough and you are perfectly beautiful here. So that's giving me the idea that maybe your sacral chakra has been not working properly. So it's time to open that up and allow yourself to feel desirable, feel like sexy, experience things that are pleasurable for you. If you're single, you can have these experiences with another person, but you don't necessarily have to. You don't need another person. You can discover things about yourself like through self-exploration, you know? And many times that can end up being better than a crappy date, you know? So it's just important for you to figure out what exactly you feel safe doing. Because some people do feel safe going out on dates. They can totally go out on a date with somebody, hook up with them, not feel hurt at all. It makes them feel good. And that's great. Like if that is the type of person you are. But if you're seeking sexual relationships as a way of degrading yourself or a lack of self-respect, things like that, if you're using it to gain control over other people, then that is something that definitely needs to change, and that'll help with your sacral chakra, because it should not be overactive and it should not be underactive. It should just be balanced. So look some stuff up about it if you want to. I'm not like a chakra pro. It's just like I got this ritual deck that has a bunch of different magic stuff in it, and I feel like it'd be a fun way for me to learn and share at the same time as stuff comes up. But yeah. We have player here, so watch out for players. Maybe watch out for yourself playing other people. We'll see, because I'm wondering exactly how all this stuff is interacting to remain that long-term vision. I'm guessing it's telling me that maybe you've been dealing with a player, or you have in the past dealt with these players, and maybe it took a really big toll on you. Like maybe you felt super affected. It hit your self-esteem really bad to not be prioritized by this person, instead of recognizing that they're not really prioritizing anybody. If you weren't prioritized and then somebody else was, that just means that they can use this person in a way that they couldn't use you. Do not feel bad for having self-respect. If you tell somebody no and you're like clear about what your boundaries are, and instead of respecting you they go find somebody else, that means that they didn't want an equal exchange relationship, and you should let that relationship go. You can meet more people. You will meet somebody who respects your boundaries and respects you as a person. You don't need to degrade yourself. You don't need to lower your self-worth to have somebody care about you. Just because somebody found somebody else does not mean that that person is better than you. That might just mean that that person is more easily manipulated. that person could also have something that could be exploited, like more money or attractiveness. Attractiveness is subjective, but many times attractiveness can be used to get free things, get out of stuff like that. So that is like a way that some people will use somebody else, you know? So just like keep that stuff in mind, that you can actually kind of feel grateful that you're not currently being used by that person. They found somebody else to use, and you can do the work now on yourself and not focus so much on what they're doing, if that makes sense. Wellness is the natural state of my body. My body communicates with me, and I am willing to listen and understand its messages. So listen to yourself, you know? If your body is feeling a particular way and you need help, go ahead and serve that part of yourself. You don't need to be struggling, you know? And your health is really important. So concentrate more. If you're like feeling like you're hurting a lot because of things that are going on, don't like turn to binge eating, drinking, drugs, stuff like that. Unless like, you know, literally something here and there is not that big of a deal. But if you're feeling yourself being dependent on it, doing it every day, stuff like that, maybe start putting more restrictions on it so that it doesn't get out of control, because too much of anything is really bad for our body. We have King of Pentacles here. So this is somebody who is good with money, somebody that you trust. This could be like a good boss. This could be a father figure, somebody like that. But it's time now to get some advice from this person about your financial matters, you know? Or you could be this person. You're finally starting to have some type of stability whenever it comes to your finances, and you're becoming a person who's the expert now. It's over here with this Mother of Cups. So there's definitely like this empathy and then like stability here that need to work together. We have Three of Cups here. These are your tribe people. These are the people that you can always depend on no matter what. They're your friends, they're your family, whoever it is that you feel like always has your back. This is a reminder that these people are there for you, and maybe it's time to connect and like hit them up, you know? It's going to be over here with the World. So remember that you have these opportunities, and you have people who love you, and you have plenty of opportunity and space to feel love and express it with other people. So just look for those openings, you know, with people. We have the Tower. I think you've already gone through your Tower moment, or maybe it's happening right now. But yeah, this is just a reminder from Spirit that things, we kind of like, we follow these toxic cycles, and we keep doing them and not understanding why we're doing them. And then one day everything just kind of falls apart and we hit our rock bottom. Rock bottom is different for everybody. Everybody has a different level of what they would consider rock bottom. So whenever you feel like you have hit rock bottom and everything you feel like you've worked towards has just fallen apart, I'm assuming in this that it's some type of relationship, and that's maybe why you're looking for spiritual growth, is because you want to feel okay inside just you, and maybe you don't want to be codependent anymore, or maybe you want to let go of this person who has hurt you repeatedly. So this is your Tower moment of everything that you have built up to this like false self and this like false idea of what life is like finally crumbling. And so we also, it's going to be over here with, it's time to take action. So maybe it's time to officially get away from this environment. Also, sorry I keep touching my nose. It's so itchy. Probably allergies. We got the Hierophant here. So this could be a Taurus. If you're a Taurus, then this is just a reminder that you chose the right deck. But this could also be a Taurus that you interact with. But also, but, right? The Hierophant is kind of like, you know what the right thing is to do, and you have learned your morals from culture, like rules in general, the way you were raised, stuff like that. You know what is right and you know what is wrong based on those things. And I'm not talking about like shame cycles. I'm talking about like legitimately, you know what it means to be a good mother. You know what it means to be a good father. You know how to be a good friend. Like, you know those things. Your higher self knows. If you're thinking like, no, I don't know, I'm really bad at being people's friends, I don't know how to be people's friends, I'm just destructive and blah, 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 that's not something you know. That's something you think. And then because you think this, you continue to create these environments where you are living out your negative thought patterns. We are not our thoughts. Our thoughts are different. Our thoughts are things that are programmed into us. It's our conditioning, you know? Whenever you're told that you're not worth anything for a large portion of your life, if you're in an abusive relationship, whatever, then you create this thought pattern that you don't deserve happiness and you don't deserve love. So then you act accordingly. What you need to do is change those thoughts to positive thought patterns. I mean, they literally talk about this in therapy. This is something everyone can do. So if you're sitting over there being all like, not me, I can't change, I'm just a negative person, that is not true. You know how to do the right thing, and just go ahead and take the steps to do it, you know? Stop making excuses, stop throwing a pity party. Right here, you are good enough. It's right here next to you are good enough. So remember that you are good enough to have authentic relationships and to love yourself. You're good enough for those things. We have the moon here, which is kind of like a reminder of illusions and that we don't always know everything, and also the lies we tell ourselves. You know, I was just talking about negative thought patterns. The lies we tell ourselves that keep us complacent and keep us in toxic cycles. It's time to recognize those things. We have kindreds, so kindred spirits. So these are your tribe people once again. So Spirit really wants you to reach out to people that you know that you can trust. So maybe you've been down on yourself. Maybe this relationship you were in made you isolated from your friends. But just take that time to just communicate directly with them. If you want to wait until Mercury goes direct, go ahead. But just like have like an idea of like who you want to get in contact with. I actually got in contact with a friend last night who she hadn't texted me back a few times. And it was hurting my feelings. So I was starting to think like maybe we weren't friends anymore. And then I reminded myself that's stupid. So I hit her up again just to be like, hey, how are you? I miss you and stuff. And then we ended up having a nice conversation and decided we were going to meet up soon. And then I, you know, reminded myself she's busy. Why did I put so much weight into her not being in contact with me like during a pandemic, you know? Why did I let my insecurity talk me out of a really good friendship, you know? So definitely it's time, sometimes it's time you have to like just take stock in that way. We have, I am open to love in various forms. Okay, so this is like pet love, sibling love, friend love, plant love, universe love, any type of love. It's like time to open yourself up to that. We have it here with you are perfectly beautiful. And the more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. So it's time to love freely in July. Not love with expectations or conditions. Just kind of recognize that it's like I'm feeling the love. And whenever you feel it, you pass it on to others. And it's a beautiful thing. Don't block yourself from feeling love, if that makes sense. We have 7 of Pentacles here. As you can see, she's been watering her garden. And things are starting to sprout. So I feel like things are starting to happen for you. But maybe you're not feeling abundance and you're not able to like recognize that what's happening is good, you know? Maybe you're like... Maybe you're feeling really boggled down. Maybe this like heartbreak from this relationship is just like hurting you too much that you're feeling like you don't appreciate anything that's happening around you. It's time to change our mindset about that and start opening ourselves up to appreciating what we have. We have Strength reversed here. If you are a Leo, then this is a sign that you chose the right deck. But this could also represent a Leo that you're not having a good relationship with right now. Maybe the person that the relationship ended with was a Leo. We'll see. But this card is also a reminder to look at your inner strength and appreciate it. I don't feel like you're appreciating your inner strength right now. I feel like you're feeling pretty like beat down and not feeling so good about yourself, you know? We also have Scorpio and Pisces energy down here that I didn't even recognize earlier. So definitely like get more in tune into your emotions right now and definitely, maybe, okay, write down some things that you don't like about yourself. And then from there, you can kind of create affirmations of like, I want to feel the opposite of this way, right? So it's like, I feel like I'm a codependent person. So I'm going to write down, I am strong on my own, right? I can be independent. I don't need others to feel happiness. I don't need others to feel love. Things like that. You can like write that stuff down and then tell yourself it every day. We have 7 of Swords reversed here. This actually tells me that you don't really care anymore what people have been saying about you. Like maybe you did care a lot before, but now you're kind of like just walking away from it and being like, I just don't care. And that's a good place to be in, because people use the power of gossip to keep people in control, you know? If you worry and care so much about what people think about you, then people will continue to spread things about you to keep your attention, you know, especially super toxic people. Toxic people love to use gossip and smear campaigns and stuff like that to keep you isolated. And then we have King of Pentacles reversed here. So this is somebody who is flashy with their money. This is somebody who, their finances are always kind of up and down. Like they have a lot, they don't have to worry. They're going to pay for everybody's lunch and drinks and stuff. And then they turn around and they don't have any money, you know? So that's what this type of person is. They flaunt their money. They use their money for control. I think this is a reminder to stay away from this person. And then we had the King of Pentacles right side up over here. So there's kind of like that energy against each other right here. So there's somebody in your life who is financially stable that you can depend on for if you needed a loan or financial advice or something like that. And then there's somebody in your life who was like just frivolous with money. So I guess maybe you're going to have to find that balance there of like financial stability and who to trust and who to talk to. Something I want you to keep in mind in July is body love. I choose to love, honor, and nourish my body through good food, movement, and positive thoughts. Positive thought patterns, okay? If you want more information about that, like you don't really know exactly what I'm saying, just Google it. Google positive thought patterns. Google negative thought patterns. Figure out why exactly you're doing it in particular, and look up unhealthy attachments. You know, there's so much on Google now, and there's so much mental health stuff that's just available for you to look at, you know? So take advantage. Some supporting actions could be take a Zumba or dance class, get your beauty sleep, eat the foods that support your body. If you want to journal about it, write a love letter to your body. That would be nice, right? And that also has to do with the sacral chakra too, because if we're wanting to experiment sexually and stuff, we need to feel good about our bodies, right? It sucks to participate in sexual activities if you don't feel good about yourself and you think that you're ugly or gross. It ends up like affecting your ability to stand up for yourself and say, hey, no, I don't like this. You know, it opens you up to abuse. So definitely like look within and love your own body. And take this time to open up your sacral chakra and maybe do it independently, because I'm feeling like you're moving on from a bad relationship. This could not be true for everybody, but that's definitely what I'm getting here a lot, is there is a relationship you're moving on from, and I think you're taking a lot of baggage with you. So just keep that in mind in your next relationship. And while you're getting to know and love yourself, right? Okay, so thank you for watching. This is the end of it. If any of this resonated, please leave a comment to let me know, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. If you chose deck 2, then you chose relationships. So relationships are a big part of what you're wanting to focus on for the next month. The lens of humility. Train your mind to see past the ego and view life through the lens of humility and faith, a perspective that makes apparently insurmountable differences seem insignificant. Okay. So yeah, the ego doesn't help us. I've said this in a few videos, but I'll say it again. The ego protected us in childhood, but as an adult, the ego is no longer our friend. It does not serve us. The ego is what happens whenever you ever like feel like a slight from somebody, and then you just like flip out and you don't like who you become whenever you flipped out, that's your ego speaking. And in childhood, your ego protected you in situations where you did not have control, because you couldn't control how your parents treated you, your guardians, whoever, other kids at school, teachers. You couldn't control how those people treated you, and they were in charge. So you began to develop this ego. And this is the part of you that gets offended. This is the part of you that takes things personally. This is the part of you that's codependent. This is the part of you that is entitled. You know, because sometimes we'll feel entitled to things that we didn't even really think about. Like, totally feeling entitled to kindness from everyone. You know? That is nice to, like, think of in theory. I mean, sometimes I feel that way. Like, I feel like I should be entitled to people being kind to me. But that just doesn't happen all the time. And many times people, like, whenever people are being angry and mean, that comes from something going on with them. You're not doing anything wrong. It's them. Their ego will try to make you feel like you're the one doing something wrong. It's going to be a lot of, how dare you, you know, things like that. So definitely, like, stay away from that and be a little more humble in July. Like, try it out. Try out not taking things personally. If you hear yourself saying, how dare you? If you hear yourself saying, I can't believe so-and-so would do this to me, you know, like things like that. Like if you feel yourself being like, me, myself, how dare, do not cross, you know, like things like that. That's your ego. And your ego also speaks when you are triggered. So whenever you feel your ego coming up, ask yourself why. Why do I feel this way? Why am I on super defense mode? You know, it's important to ask yourself that. Okay. We have Daughter of Cups here. So this is kind of like the beginning of emotional, like learning more emotional stability. You can see in this painting here that she's like floating in the water and just allowing herself to flow. In many other decks, this is the Knight, or no, this is the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups is usually like opening yourself up to a new opportunity. So the daughter is learning from the mother and the father and the brother, you know? She's learning how to have empathy and express true love. Self-love is popping up in my head, so that gives me the idea that you're going to need to focus a little bit more on self-love. And then we have Five of Cups. This is a mourning and transitional period. You've lost something recently. It could be a person, or it could be something less, less tragic than that. But still, you are mourning something in your life. And so I think through this mourning period, you are learning a little bit more about humility, and you're learning a little bit more about emotional stability, and you're wanting to kind of like change because you've experienced this event. We have Cougar here. I forgot exactly the description for it, so I'm going to look it up and read to you. Mystery. My dreams are divine. I share them when I am ready. Cougars are solitary beings. They prowl areas where they are sure to remain hidden, keeping out of sight. Their prime hunting time is in the darkness of night while we are asleep. Follow Cougar's example by keeping your goals a mystery until they are rooted and ready to be unveiled. Sharing your ideas in their infancy can dilute their divine potential. Allow them to live in the shadows, free from the opinions of others. Give yourself time to realize your aspirations and build confidence in them. Keep a private journal of your ideas and plans. Write anything that comes to mind, no matter how far-fetched it seems. Open yourself up when the time is right and welcome advice and expertise. But keep your circle small and include only those who are trustworthy and open-minded enough to help your dreams grow. Avoid judgmental people. Honor your sacred dreams by keeping a little mystery in your life. Okay, so Cougar is telling us to allow things to be unknown, you know? Like, since you're going through this mourning period, you might feel kind of lost. And I think that the Cougar and that spirit is telling you that it's okay to feel lost sometimes and to not know exactly what the next step is. Sometimes the greatest things can come to us whenever we're not focusing so much on how, what, where, when, and why that we can receive abundance. If you just allow yourself to be open to experiences, then that's when you'll experience something great. So the Cougar is just a reminder that you don't know everything, and that's okay. We have new moon in Gemini. Ooh, and full moon in Gemini. So freaking double Gemini energy here. But we have communication is key. So I think because it's new moon and full moon in Gemini, this is giving me the idea that possibly that this is going to be a new sort of project for you. You're opening yourself up to new emotional journeys, right? So this is giving me the idea that maybe communicating your feelings is something that has always been difficult for you. Maybe whenever you were growing up, you felt like you couldn't express yourself at all, or you would be punished. Many people were raised that way. You are not alone. But in adulthood, you do have the power to speak up for yourself, and it is a time whenever you're being triggered, whenever you do have to speak up for yourself, ask yourself why and work through it. I struggled so much with telling somebody that they hurt my feelings. I wouldn't tell somebody for like days later because it would take me a long time to process it. I would notice something happen and I would feel uncomfortable but not know why. And then I would have to work through it for days. And then whenever I would confront the person, in my mind I'm already playing all the times in my life I've told somebody they hurt my feelings and their ego reaction to me. So I'm afraid and I'm like shaking and crying as I'm telling this person that they hurt my feelings, you know? I've learned a lot better to speak up for myself, and it took years and years to learn how to do that. But communication is definitely key, and if somebody is not open to listening to your feelings, then they're not worth the time and effort, like for real. Like somebody who's gonna like shut you down after they've hurt your feelings and they've crossed the line, it's not worth it. It's better to be around people who are open to communication, people who are open to admitting when they're wrong, because we are all wrong sometimes. Our ego comes out for all of us. And so it's important to have that open communication with somebody. Communication really is the key to beautiful relationships. For full moon in Gemini, we have the answers you need are coming. So I feel like if you're open about your communication with people, then you're going to receive the answers you've been looking for. You might be feeling lost lately, and you're going to find some of the answers. We have your soul whispers love, your ego shouts fear. Ego again, right? Let's not speak from fear. Let's not allow it to control us. I could go on more, but I feel like I've gone on so much about ego. You get the point. I witness the darkness and call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love, okay? Pay attention to your triggers. Why am I being triggered? What wound? Okay, because that's a lot of where it comes from. What inner child wound is this festering? Because many times that is where the ego is coming from. They are trying to protect us from a previous wound in childhood that we did not heal. And now is the time to heal and forgive. You could not control when you were a child what happened to you. But as an adult, for the most part, obviously there's such things as like intense disabilities, dangerous abusive situations that like take a lot of time and effort to get out of. I'm not saying like it can happen tomorrow, but I am saying that you have the ability as an adult, for the most part, to change your cycles, to change what you do, how you respond, how you react. Your actions are the only thing you can control. You can't control anybody else. You can't control what happens out in the world. The only thing you can control is yourself. So definitely start thinking of things through love. How can I express myself lovingly? Because remember, we want to openly communicate. How can I express myself lovingly? And even be upfront with somebody too. Like be all like, hey, I don't really know how to say this because I've always had a hard time confronting people. But when you did this thing earlier today, yesterday, last week, last month, whatever, when you did that, it hurt me. And the reason I'm bringing it up now is because it took me a while to process it. And now that I understand that it upset me and it hurt me, I want to make that known to you. And then this person can be like, oh, okay, I did not realize. I'll work hard to no longer put you in that position. Or they can come from their point of view and be like, I didn't mean to make you feel that way, but this was what was going on for me. And be open to hearing them. You're not perfect either. Nobody is perfect. So be open to communication and be prepared that if you do get triggered by somebody calling you out, that you show them the same amount of love, appreciation, openness, all of those things that you want from other people when you're open about your emotions, okay? Good powwow. We have directions, south, challenge, endurance, overcoming. So that's kind of what's happening for you. Right now you're overcoming something, you're feeling like down and low right now. And since you chose relationships, this has to do with something. This could be family. I'm getting the vibe it's family relationships, but of course it could be romantic, friends, anything like that. And then for candles, we have violet, spirituality, magic, and attunement. Okay, so listen to your intuition and look within right now. Listen to your soul. Ooh, we have growth and transformation. What you're going through right now is making you grow. It's making you transform. You have the opportunity right now to become the person you want to be. And this is not a false self, this is a true self. Who are you truly deep down, And the more you accept yourself, the more you're able to find outlets for things that are important to you. If you're somebody who needs a lot of attention, you should totally get a job where you receive a lot of attention. You should start a YouTube channel, get on social media, do something like that. If you know that you like attention, instead of expecting just one person to meet that need. Just ask yourself, what exactly are your needs? That's the one thing that popped into my head, but there are many of other things that we need from people. I actually need pretty much constant intellectual stimulation. It's so much so that I burn myself out. I have a Virgo moon, and then Gemini Mercury and Gemini Venus. If you don't know anything about astrology, ignore that. But for those of you who do know, you know that I love talking. I love learning new things. I love being around people. I also love serving people. And I have a lot of anxiety. It plays in my head constantly. It burns me out, And it's very hard for me to just sit still and just watch TV or just listen to music or something like that. I have to be doing something. I have to be using my brain, using my hands. I don't need to be hearing things, but I definitely need to be using my eyes and processing stuff. So reading is a really big thing for me, But since I know that, I look for ways to get that out, instead of expecting my fiance to want to talk 24/7 or expecting other people to satisfy that need for me. I instead love to study things. I do stuff like this, these videos. This is very intellectually stimulating for me. I have conversations with people online all the time, just stuff like that. It's a way of finding ways to satisfy that need. And through doing that, you will grow and you'll transform, because you accept yourself. And accepting yourself is the key. We have, I appreciate others for who they are. I accept that I cannot learn other people's lessons for them. They must do the work themselves and they will do it when they are ready. Okay, so this is codependency vibes for sure. And you're not alone on that either. I'm definitely codependent. But, I've been working on it. But it's definitely something I did not realize that I did for a very long time. And a big part of it was seeing people's potential and then me trying to make them, make it happen for them, Me trying to, teach them how to be a good person. Me trying to teach them, how to love school. Just, whatever it was that I felt like this person needed. Many times, too, that person would express to me that they need or want that. But what they really want is for me to do all the work for them. So it's kind of learning to, take a step back on that and not, try to teach or guide people to something. Some people feel like that's their life purpose, is to teach and guide others and be a mentor, and that's totally cool. I'm getting my, like, helping people out. I feel like this deck is probably for me too. I don't know. I'm expressing so much of my own. I hope that you appreciate it. And I hope that it's resonating with you. But it's definitely, like, important to take that step back and accept that people have their own things that they're into, you know, and appreciate your differences with them, you know. This is actually a really big lesson I did learn recently, so maybe this deck is really actually for me too. So if you picked this one, then I think we're on the same boat. We have 8 of Cups here. It's reversed. So recently you walked away from something. It was a relationship you put a lot of time and pressure and all of that stuff in, and then you figured out that you just have to walk away from it. It's not serving you anymore for whatever reason. You could be the toxic one, they could be the toxic one. It could just not be working. Whatever it is, you had to walk away from this, but you're feeling like you're over it now. You're feeling like it was a good decision. If it was right side up, it would mean you're still suffering with it. But it being upside down tells me that you're starting to move on. It's with this Daughter of Cups over here too. So you're kind of like learning new things about yourself based on that. We have 7 of Swords. This is kind of just a reminder to watch out for gossip, watch out for smear campaigns. Try not to get wrapped up in the idea of what other people are saying about you behind your back, because many times that stuff just does not serve us and it just hurts. And that's with that 5 of Cups, that mourning. We have 5 of Cups again. So yeah, definitely mourning the loss of something. You can see like things going down in that like black hole right there. So yeah, we're mourning the loss of something. I know what it is for me. I'm sure you know what it is for you. And then the 6 of Swords reversed, which tells me that it's been a really long journey. I'm going to say for me that this journey is coming to an end. But maybe for you, you're just like, you're kind of hating being on this journey and you don't like where you are. And it's just a reminder to keep going and that the end is near. The answers you need are coming, you know? We have Fire here. And inspiration. So use that fire inside of you to inspire yourself. Start new creative projects, things like that. If you want to go look on my Instagram, I just painted something yesterday. I painted a dream catcher. It's really pretty. But using like that fire of like, you know, I was struggling to sleep a lot whenever I was in this bad situation. And it kept me up at night and I would have nightmares. And many times I felt like I was communicating with the people in my dreams, you know? And so it was really difficult. So that was kind of like an inspiration to paint my painting, was because I was like, you know what, dream catchers, like, they're supposed to help you not have bad dreams, you know? So, and I also found an old dream catcher my sister gave me from a Native American school. Like, they made them and then sold them, you know? My sister gave one to me a really long time ago, and I totally forgot about it. But whenever we moved, I found it, so I put it up above my bed. I've been sleeping a lot better. I put crystals next to my bed too. I have a little bag of crystals. I sleep so much better, you know? And yeah, and I definitely feel like I'm moving on. So I'm hoping you are too. We have, I honor animals with reverence. So this is a reminder to honor the lives of animals, basically, to see them as sacred. So many of us do see animals as innocent beings, especially pets. If you're vegetarian or vegan, you feel that extra. I'm not vegetarian or vegan, but I mean, I get what y'all are saying, you know. But it's definitely time to maybe think a little bit more about what you are consuming. Maybe lessen your meat intake. Like, maybe you don't want to be vegetarian or vegan, which is fine. But if you find yourself eating meat for every meal of the day, that's not good for you either. So maybe like lessen your intake and look for protein in different ways. Because in the United States, for sure, we need to be eating way more vegetables than we do. I don't want to be like lecturing you on your diet or anything. But We do need protein. We need a lot of protein, but we don't need all of our protein to be from meat. We need a lot of it to be from vegetables. So look up like protein heavy vegetables and add them to your food. I mean, I always have spinach and broccoli just on lock, you know, to put into everything. But you can definitely look at other stuff and figure out what you can be adding, you know, and then flavor it the way you want. Like, vegetables are so versatile as well. Just something to think about. We have 3 of Cups here. So this is like our tribe. These are people that we can get along with. And, you know, our friends, our family, whoever it is that you feel like is your tribe, whoever you feel like you can celebrate with and be yourself. I think this is just kind of a reminder to reach out to those people. We have the Chariot reversed. So if you're a Cancer, this is a sign that you chose the right deck. Or you could be having a bad relationship with a Cancer right now. But this is just also a reminder that you're not charging forward and going after what you want. You're kind of like taking a step back, maybe feeling stagnant. So it's time to kind of process that. We have Page of Pentacles reversed. So this is kind of like, maybe you're feeling blocked financially. I know I definitely am. You're feeling blocked financially, and it might be affecting like the way you feel about yourself, or maybe what's happened in the past, you know, things like that. But you're feeling blocked financially. I know a lot of people are feeling this way because of the pandemic. A lot of people aren't working and they can't find work. And so this is just like a reminder to have faith. It's over here with that South card. Oh, and it's also with the 3 of Cups. So don't forget that you can also reach out to the people you love and ask for help when you need it, you know. And then we have 8 of Wands. So in July, you're going to be very busy, but in a good way. So things are going to be coming to you. And just remember to have, remember to listen to your intuition at this time, okay? Here's something I want you to keep in mind for July. Positivity. Today I choose to attract good vibes only. For some supporting actions, you can surround yourself with people who lift you up, buy a feel-good movie or book, make a list of your accomplishments. If you want to journal about it, you can journal, what can you let go of in order to bring more positive vibes into your life, okay? I know for sure what we should let go of. That negative relationship, right? That relationship that we had to walk away from, that thing that we're mourning, the negative thought patterns of the past, the way we thought of ourselves as somebody who couldn't stand up for ourselves, you know? Now I'm definitely speaking from myself as well, because I'm hoping you can relate. But yeah, it's time to let go of how things will happen, let go of the control, and allow yourself to feel, honor your feelings, and honor your true self. Okay? So thank you. If that resonated, please leave a comment to let me know, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye. Hi, if you picked group 3, then that means that you picked personal growth. You feel like you need to know more about personal growth in the next, for the next month. We have Awaken the Spirit. Yoga aims to awaken your immortal spiritual nature while you are still living within this mortal body and mind. So they used yoga as an example, but could also be meditation. Anything that you feel that is awakening your spirit. Sometimes too, a nice thing to do that can be to like walk around and kind of like feel the sun on you. Maybe take your shoes off and put your feet directly on the grass. And just allow yourself to be open and to feel and to let spirit communicate with you. Awaken your spirit, you know. We have 9 of Flames here. There's so much fire, right? This is kind of like telling me that you've done a lot of the hard work to get to where you are, and you don't want anybody to take it away from you. You're like defensive over what's yours, you know? And then we also have Father of Coins here. So this tells me too that you've learned a lot about stability, especially financially, or like with like earthly possessions, like home, health, things like that. You're definitely feeling like there's some stability there and you trust yourself, and that's cool. This could also represent another person in your life that is like a father figure to you. this person can give good financial advice. This person is somebody stable. This is somebody that you trust, you know? So it could be time to seek some advice from that person, but it could also be you. So we'll see. We have salmon here. I forgot the exact description of this card, so I'm going to look it up and read it to you. Intuition. I know my true path. Salmon are strong swimmers that defy logic with their ability to journey back to the rivers of their birth. Salmon shows us that we are born with the innate knowledge of our true path and that we have an intuitive sense of which direction to take. Salmon asks you to explore the rivers of your mind and be on the lookout for hints of your true calling. Swim in your own direction. Don't let anything hold you back, distract you, or turn you around. Take some time to think about the path you are currently on. Are you following your intuition, or are you floating along wherever the current takes you? Are you struggling to swim upstream and going nowhere? Are you forging your own path? Intuition lives beyond reason, and following it may bring you to a place you could never have planned or imagined. Follow your hunches. Okay, so it's important to follow your intuition right now. Your intuition is speaking to you, and it's probably another reason of why Awaken the Spirit is your personal growth challenge. We have full moon in Aquarius. Show the world the real you. Don't be afraid of who you are. Aquarius people are known for being unique and they don't follow the crowd and things like that. So kind of like look for ways in your life that you are unique, you know, and allow yourself to be different from others. We also have void of course moon. Nothing will come of this situation. So you might be in a situation and you know deep down that it's not serving you for whatever reason, but maybe you're resisting changing because of a variety of reasons. I liked my job at child support, but I also felt like I also just hated working 8 to 5. It's like soul sucking. But I felt like I had to do it because I felt like I'd always been fighting to have income, and then now I had income where it was like I just sat at my desk and did my job. I wasn't like working in a fast-paced environment like a restaurant. I used to do contract work, so I would work 4 or 5 different jobs, and every new assignment would take so much time and effort for not very much money. Contract work is honestly kind of a scam, but whatever. I think we're going to move on from that. With everything with the pandemic, more people are going to be working from home, so I think it's going to be less of like a scam to work from home. I would still make money, but I wasn't like making enough to be in charge of my own life, if that makes sense. I had a degree in writing, and I was writing, doing social media work because I also had a degree in media, and I just felt like I was just constantly doing things for other people and not things I actually felt passionate about, if that makes sense. So you might be feeling like you're in a situation that doesn't really make sense for you, but you don't feel like you can like leave it. So you just keep on like doing the thing, like we were saying. Are you just like following the current, or are you in charge of where you're swimming? Allow unlimited abundance. Many times we don't feel like we deserve abundance, and I know that sucks because it's like, how can you tell your brain that you deserve abundance? But the point is that you do need to manifest it, and you do need to open yourself up to it. And stop allowing yourself to feel so enslaved by worrying so much about how, what, where, when, why, all those things. Just like allow yourself to be open, and abundance will come. I choose love no matter what. There we go. I choose love no matter what. Sometimes it's hard to choose love because sometimes our ego wants to speak for us, but it's important for us to remember to always choose love. We have the first quarter moon, focus, momentum, and motivation. So, I actually feel like you're already feeling motivated. I don't feel like you're feeling that stuck, but I definitely feel like you're thinking like that you're tired of just going along with things, and you want to like do something that actually rings true to you and speaks to you. And now is the time. That's what Spirit is saying. For magical tools, we have salt, barrier, shelter, sacred place. And I feel like you need a sacred place. Like find your area of your house or wherever, and like that is your sacred area that's just for you. You can be yourself in this space. We also have be patient. So maybe you're expecting things to happen like yesterday, and you're not allowing yourself the freedom to be open and allow things to happen in their own time. My inner world is peaceful. It is safe for me to look within. Each time I look deeper into myself, I will find incredibly beautiful treasures. Okay? So I think definitely you need to do more meditative work for sure, because that's kind of the message we're getting so far, right? Is meditative work accepting ourselves, allowing our true self to come forward, following our intuition, things like that. We have King of Wands reversed. So this tells me this is not the right time to start your own business or anything like that. I get the vibe here that maybe that's something you want to do, but maybe you need a little bit more guidance first, and maybe it's not exactly the right time to like jump forward for it. It's with that 9 of Flames here, so that like wanting to defend how far you've come. So I did mention contract work earlier, so maybe you're wanting to like be a contract artist or something like that. But maybe you don't have enough experience yet, and so it's going to be rough out there, you know, and you maybe you feel like, I know what I'm doing, you know, that 9 of Flames, but maybe realistically you don't have everything set out yet. So maybe you still need to kind of partner with other people, do more experience-based things. I know that that's annoying and it sucks, especially if you're a young person. Because I think eventually as you get older, you learn that that's just kind of what you have to do. Like, you just have to play along with whatever it is you need to do to get what you want, you know? But whenever you're a younger person, it's a lot harder to be told that's not going to happen for you right now. So just kind of like keep that in mind. We have Ace of Swords reversed. That tells me that you're feeling blocked, like intellectually. Like you feel like maybe all of your ideas are being like pushed down, or maybe you don't believe in your own ideas. It's over with this Father of Coins, so maybe that person that you trusted and feel like you can respect and who knows financial stability, maybe they kind of talked you out of something, and now you're feeling blocked and you're not feeling like you can't trust yourself. We have that here again too with the High Priestess reversed, so not trusting your intuition. And we have in that center card that you need to trust your intuition. So definitely do some meditative work to get back into feeling intuitive. Trusting your gut, you know? And then through that experience, we have the Ace of Pentacles here. You'll come up with an idea that will actually help you, you know? We're going where we're meant to be, right? Not exactly where we want to be. So I could see from this spread, I'm definitely getting the feeling that you're disappointed in where you are and you feel like you should be so much further. I'm also getting the feeling that like you're young, maybe you're young spirited, but I also get the feeling in general that you're just young. And which is good. You want to work on personal growth because that's so important. Like definitely your 20s are a huge part of personal growth. You grow the whole time and you kind of figure out who you are. You have your Saturn return whenever you're 27, between 27 and 30. So it's whenever one of my favorite astrology people calls Saturn the daddy of the astrology. I think that's so funny. But basically you spent the first 20 years of your life like learning your lessons from your Saturn placement. And this affects like the way that other people treat you, the way that you feel like you get accomplishments, stuff like that. You're kind of like having to pay these dues. And then whenever you turn 27, between 27 and 30, you start to realize that you've been focusing on the wrong stuff. Or maybe you start to finally reap the benefits of the hard work you have done for so much of your life. So I'm sorry if you are a younger person. I'm sorry that it does hurt to be heard that like you want something so bad, but you're years away from it manifesting, you know? But the best thing to do is to just like keep on being true to yourself, learning who your true self is, and you will get that idea of what it is for you. We have home. So put some motivation into your home environment, and remember we need to create a good sacred space. So if you're living with family, maybe make sure you have a lock on your door. If you are an adult, you should be able to have a lock on your door. If you have the type of parents who are like, we don't do locks, like, I'm sorry, but low key, that's abuse, but whatever. Lots of families do it. But you should be able to have that peace and quiet and like a part of the house that is your sacred space. People cannot bother you in there. I know plenty of people who grew up in homes where they weren't allowed to not lock the doors, or their parents would take their door off the hinges if they were in trouble. A lot of those people find that the bathroom is their safe space. So they end up spending a lot of time in the bathroom pretending that they're pooping whenever they're really just in there, you know? Or, and if you are a person where your sacred space is the bathroom, I would suggest taking baths, you know? Or taking nice long showers where you kind of sit in there and you let the water like pour over you. I know that that's not good for the environment, but it's good for your soul to allow yourself that. I've heard that showers are very good for depression in particular. That surprised me because I love baths. I mean, I like showers too, but if I want to feel relaxed, I'll take a bath. But yeah, if you're like really depressed, they say that taking a shower helps so much more. And I'm wondering if it's that water like beating down on you rather than sitting in something warm, because I almost fall asleep in the bath all the time. But yeah, maybe that water like pouring on you kind of like feels like it's like washing away the sadness, you know? I know depression is more complex than that, but I'm sure you get what I'm saying. So yeah, in your home, find that sacred space that's for you. And then we have wildness here. So time to kind of embrace like your wild side and like who you are. We have that show the world the real you. So allow like that wild streak to come out and like who you really are, you know? That part of yourself that you keep secret from others. We have I benefit with gratitude. So remember to have gratitude for the things that you do have going right in your life. Like maybe let's say that you are living at home and you don't feel very respected, but maybe look for other ways that you can have gratitude, like at least I do have a home, you know, and I have good friends. I have, you know, that's not to say you invalidate yourself, because it is important to validate yourself, but don't validate yourself so much that you're stuck in a spiral. I definitely have been the type to do that in the past. And I've learned, and I'm trying to learn how to not do that anymore. Because there's a lot of like, don't tell me to get over it. Don't tell me how to process things. I was definitely like that a lot. And then now, I mean, it's still like nobody should really be telling you anything unless they're your therapist or unless you ask them. But it's a little easier for me to feel gracious about the things that are going right and not focus so much on the things that have gone wrong, you know? We have Queen of Wands reversed here. So this tells me that I feel like you're not feeling very passionate or creative lately. There's definitely like blocked energy. I mean, we've been told there's blocked energy so many times. I kind of get the feeling that you are living with family and that they don't understand you. And I'm sorry, that definitely sucks. Like living with family they just don't get it. Especially if they start arguments with you a lot. Then you're just kind of like, can I just exist, please? You know, like if you have a family member who needs a lot of like constant attention and validation, and when you're not, you know, singing praises to them at all times, they decide to pick fights with you. That is a tough environment to be in. It's difficult. And so it definitely brings you down. Okay, you see that fly? Okay. We got 9 of Swords. So there's an issue that's keeping you up at night. You're worried and you can't sleep, you know? And but this 9 of Swords is also a reminder that it's almost over. It's coming to the end. I mean, an equal balance, right? We can't just only suffer ever. You know, there's happiness and there's suffering, and there needs to be an equal amount. We have the World reversed. I think this is Spirit just reminding you that you have more opportunities than you feel that you do. You definitely, obviously, from all of this, you feel blocked. You don't feel like you trust yourself. I get the feeling you're probably being gaslit. I don't know that for sure, though. I don't know your situation. But just remember that you do have opportunities, and to be patient, because things are going to show up. You're going to get that Ace of Pentacles idea. So just be patient and remind yourself that you have more opportunities than you feel that you do. And then we have 6 of Cups here. So this is kind of like, this card can have to do with nostalgia. So maybe somebody from the past coming back into communication with you, like a friend or an ex or whatever, an estranged family member. But this card can also represent like doing the internal work and then sharing that with each other. So if you feel like you've been doing a lot of like self-love like type work and you're learning a little bit more, maybe it would be helpful to share that with other people if you see them struggling. Not everybody is always receptive to help, but you could still just like, what's it called? Like, give a little bit of a suggestion. Don't try to control, but just, you know, like, oh, whenever that happens, I kind of do this, you know, just something like that. Or if somebody is literally asking you for help. This next month, I want you to embrace your femininity. I am a strong, empowered, fearless woman who radiates goddess vibes. Supporting actions can be wear something that makes you feel sexy, buy a bright colored lipstick, dance in your undies around the house, or focus on your sacral chakra. If you want to journal about this, journal about how are you blocking your feminine power from fully shining through. Okay? Take accountability and figure out how you are expressing toxic femininity, you know? So codependence, things like that. I would look up more if you're interested in finding out more. But okay, the central theme of this spread, though, is to be patient and follow your intuition. You might be feeling blocked and like you don't really understand yourself. I'll tell you something that is a good indication that's a difference between anxiety and intuition. Intuition is something that you just know. There's no question about it. It's just something you feel. Like one day you just wake up and you're like, I feel like something weird's gonna happen today. But it doesn't scare you. Anxiety is when you're scared. This could happen. This might happen. And that scares you. So then you start cycling about it. And sometimes intuition can kick in anxiety, but remind yourself of what you know. I have a weird feeling. I don't know that somebody died on the way to work. I don't know that yet. So that is an anxious thought, you know? And then like what ends up being like the weird thing that happened could like not even have to do with anything that intense, you know? It could be something else. It could be something you might not ever find out about. It could be something happened to your neighbor, you know? And since you're living in close proximity to them, you pick up on their energy, you know? So definitely like listen to your intuition. Do not listen to negative thought patterns and anxiety. Okay, work through anxiety though. If you're feeling anxious about something, ask yourself why and work through it. What in your childhood was ignored that you're feeling is ignored now? Do you have abandonment issues? Do you have issues with processing your emotions? Did you grow up feeling like you were constantly dismissed and disrespected, and now you're feeling like that feeling is coming back up again and it's making you afraid? Just like process that stuff, you know, and it really does help. That has helped me more than anything else. I used to take anti-anxiety medication, antidepressants. That did not help me anywhere near as much as just addressing what I'm anxious about instead of dismissing it. I used to shame myself for my anxiety. I don't do it anymore. I realize that it's my what's it called? It's my inner child trying to communicate with my ego. They're communicating with each other, and it's creating this anxious like feeling, and then I have to figure out why. And the work is hard to do, but it definitely pays off. I haven't had an anxiety attack since probably February. It's almost July now, and before that I was having them weekly for at least 2 years, on and off flares, things like that, because I didn't know how to process anxiety. I learned I had anxiety in that time, and that I had low-grade anxiety pretty much most of my life. Both of my parents suffered from anxiety. It's a generational thing. Yeah, it's a family thing for me. So I just kind of like inherited it. I felt compelled to share that with you. I'm assuming that you kind of like have a similar thing. And that maybe that's why I felt like I needed to share that. I hope that helps you. I hope this spread resonated. If it did, leave a comment to let me know. And good luck in July. I'll see you next time. Bye.